So welcome back to our political science class session number 3 today. Sorry, 2 today. Okay, so in the morning session we discussed about the special powers of the Rajya Sabha, special powers of Lok Sabha, and how a bill will turn into a law. Okay, that is the basic things that what we discussed in the morning session. So we are going for the continuation. So discussion on the bills to make that as a law. Okay, here you know that basically the committee appointed by the people, all right or not, if any suggestion is there, basically it is considering as a bill. Okay, so suggestion that making by the ministers or independent members in the legislature. Okay, independent members in the sense of the members from any political party. Okay, not the part of the executive. They also can or they also have the right to suggest a change or suggest a formation of a new law, basically considering as a bill, right or not. So bill that will introduce in either house in case of non-money bill. If it is not a money bill, okay, that suggestion will introduce in both, okay, or any house there. So bill sent it to committee or discussed in the house itself. Okay, so the bill will send it to a committee to study about that. Okay, so one member or one minister, he just give a suggestion. What is that? It is necessary to make a law to prohibit smoking in the public premises, or making a helmet is a compulsory for the pillion rider. Okay, clear or not? For the rider and the person those accompanied with. Okay, for both want to wear the helmet, it seems. Okay, so that will discuss in the house and we will send it that to a committee to study about that. The committee will get information from the people and they will observe it. They will collect the what you can say ideas of the people and their aspirations, and the committee will give a report to the house. Okay, so house can accept the suggestion or can reject also. Clear or not? Later it will discuss in the house if it is the house is accepting so. Okay, clear or not? Okay, then what will happen there? It will send it to the other house, send it to Rajya Sabha. The other house approves or gives recommendations. Okay, Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, if it is if that one is the other house, they will discuss it and if any suggestions are necessary, they will inform that. Okay, any meeting is necessary to discuss that, a joint session of the parliament will be there. Both house members will sit together for the discussion of that particular bill. Okay, then they will approve together and will send it to the the president, and the president will sign in that. The president have the power to send that back to the council of ministers for the reconsideration. Clear or not? Okay, so that also completed. So finally the president signed in that bill and it will become a law. It will become a law. That's what we are facing today, right or not? Okay, both the riders, okay, the rider and the pillion rider wanted to wear the helmet. Next one, smoking is prohibited in the public premises, right? Both are law now, right? Not just bill, not just suggestions. It are both these things are considering as the rules. Okay, we want to follow. If you are not following, so it is considering as an offense. Okay, you have to pay penalty. Clear? Next one. A bill is a draft of the proposed law. Underline. What do you mean by bill? It is a draft. Okay. A crude form of a proposed law. Crude form of a proposed law. Okay. There can be different types of bills. When a non-minister proposes a bill, okay, non-minister means a member of the parliament, he is not a minister, proposes a bill, it is called private member's bill. Underline that. If a non-minister proposes a bill, it is termed as private member's bill. Underline. A bill proposed by a minister is described as government bill. Next one. Okay. A bill proposed by a minister is described as government bill. Underline. So bill is proposed by a minister. Okay, that is considered as a government bill. Let us now see the different stages in the life of a bill. Okay, so we already discussed that. Okay, next one. types of bills are there. What are they? Government bill by the minister, private bill by any member of the council, member of the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Okay, next one, non-money bill and money bill. If it's a non-money bill, both houses want to discuss that. If it's a money bill, only Lok Sabha will discuss. Money bill, okay, non-money bill can be divided into ordinary bill and a constitutional amendment. Ordinary bills to create the new rules. Constitutional amendment bill means want to make changes in the present rules and regulations in the constitution. Clear or not? Is that idea clear? Okay, what are they? Types of bill. Government bill is there, private member bill is there. You already underlined that what is a government bill and what is a private member's bill. Next one, non-money bills are there, money bills also are there. Okay, ordinary bills are there and a constitutional amendment. That is considering as a non-money bill. Ordinary bills means to make a new law, okay, or constitutional amendment means, what is that? To make changes in the constitution. Okay, existing rules and regulations want to change. Even before a bill is introduced in the parliament, there may be a lot of debate on the need for introducing such a bill. A political party may pressurize the government to initiate a bill in order to fulfill its election promises or to improve its chances of winning forthcoming elections. Okay, underline that all. So even before the bill introduced in the parliament, there may be a lot of debate, discussions will be there. Okay, related with the need of introducing such a bill. Okay, a crude or a draft form of a proposed bill is considering a proposed law is considering as a bill. A political party may pressurize the government to initiate a bill in order to fulfill its election promise or to improve its chances of winning forthcoming election. So the ruling party always will try to make new rules and regulation to please the people because they have to win the next election. Clear or not? So in the end of the session, end of the tenure, almost all the political parties will do this. They will make new rules and regulations, clear or not, to please the people. Okay. So basically these rules and regulations for please the people one way. Next one, they have to satisfy the need of interest groups, media and citizens. Okay. Forums may also persuade the government for a particular legislation. So number of people will pressurize the government to create some particular rules and regulations there. So hello. Okay, so lawmaking is thus not merely a legal procedure but also a political course of action. Underline that. So lawmaking is not just a legal procedure, it is related with the political action, political course of action. So politicians will utilize this opportunity to please the people, okay, to win in next election. The preparation of a bill itself involves many considerations such as resources required to implement the law, the support or opposition that the bill is likely to produce, the impact that the law may have on the electoral prospect of ruling party, etc. Okay, so basically the rules and regulations, the new laws that want to satisfy number of people, basically the opposition party will reject it, clear or not, because they don't want the ruling party to continue in the same position in the next election. They don't want to win the seats, clear or not. So the opposition party will reject it. So like that, number of political gimmicks we are able to find related with making a rule or a new law. Okay, there are number of this kind of bills are there. Still, it's under the consideration of the parliament. Clear? Can you say something like that? Example, 33% of reservation for women in the parliament. That's just now also it is a bill. It is before 10 years started discussing about such kind of a law, but still it is a bill. No political parties are interested to make that as a law. Clear or not? So it is still remaining as a bill. Okay, so in the era of coalition politics especially, a bill proposed by the government has to be acceptable to all the parties of the coalition. Clear? So coalition government means we know that number of political parties will together form the government. Such kind of governments are called to be coalition political party. So if the government want to present and pass a bill or make a bill into a law, all those leaders of different political parties in the coalition want to accept that bill, clear, then only they are able to move forward, or else they will not get the majority support. The bill will remain as a bill, it will not turn into a law. Such practical consideration can hardly be ignored. The cabinet considers all these before arriving at a decision to enact a law. Once the cabinet approves the policy behind the legislation, the task of drafting the legislation begins. Underline. The draft of any bill is prepared by the concerned ministry. So, the rule or the law it is related with, basically we know that different rules and regulations are there that is connected with the different departments. That particular ministry or that particular department will create that law, okay, without any loopholes. Okay, for instance, a bill raising the marriageable age of girls from 18 to 21, clear. So we know that it's a bill today. Okay, listen, this is not a rule, it is a bill, will be prepared by the law ministry. So who will prepare such kind of law? The Ministry of Law, because it's a rule or a law that related with the Ministry of Law. Okay, so they will decide it. The Ministry of Women and Child Welfare may also be involved in it. Then who will involve in that making of that law? Who will involve that law of ministry will be there, and a Ministry of Women and Child Welfare. So age of women for marriage is increasing to 21, which means less than 21 there are no more women there. Basically we can say girls, right? Okay, children. Okay, right? Yes or no? So age is changing from 18 to 21, definitely below 21 is considering as children, right? Okay, so the Ministry of Women and Child Welfare may also be involved in it. So if any marriages take place for a woman or a girl under 21 is considering as the child marriage, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? So that ministry also will involve in that. Which ministry? Okay, the Ministry for Women and Child Welfare may also be involved in. Within the Parliament, a bill may be introduced in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha by a member of the House, but often a minister responsible for the subject introduces the bill. Clear? A money bill can be introduced only in Lok Sabha. Once passed there, it is sent to the Rajya Sabha. Underline that. Money bill only will discuss in Lok Sabha. Okay, if Lok Sabha passed or members of the Lok Sabha passed that money bill, it will send it to the Rajya Sabha for consideration, for observing that clearly. Okay, a large part of the discussion on the bills take place in the committees. The recommendations of the committee is then sent to the House. That is why committees are referred to as miniature legislatures. Underline that. So, the committees that appointed by the legislature to study the bill, they are considered or they are called as miniature legislatures. Okay. This is the second stage in the lawmaking process. The third and the final stage is the bill is voted upon because majority consent is required to make a bill into a law. So, the third and final stage, the bill is voted upon. There is a chance for the members of Lok Sabha to give their consent in the form of vote for that particular bill. Okay, clear? Are you able to understand these things there? Okay, so voting will be there. Okay, so just to keep this idea in your mind. Okay, next one. If a non-money bill is passed by the House, it is sent to the other House where it goes through exactly the same procedure. Underline. As you know, a bill has to be passed by both houses for enactment. If there is disagreement between the two houses on the proposed bill, attempt is made to resolve it through joint session of a parliament. Clear? So if there is one house is accepted it, but the other house is not accepting, or they find some trouble with that particular bill, there is a joint meeting of both houses are necessary to discuss the changes or what changes changes want to make in that particular bill. In the few instances when joint session of the parliament were called to resolve a deadlock, the decision has always gone in favor of the Lok Sabha. Okay, so such kind of troubles are there, means a joint session will call and they will discuss about the very drastic issues that related with that particular bill. In most of the cases, history says that Lok Sabha's decision is won here. Okay, if it is a money bill, the Rajya Sabha can either approve the bill or suggest changes. It cannot, what you can say, reject it. Okay, if it's a money bill, a money related bill. Okay, suggest but cannot reject it. If it takes no action within 14 days, the bill is deemed to have been passed. So Rajya Sabha is not giving a report on money bill within 14 days, that bill is considered or considering as passed. Okay, again no more discussions are needed. Amendments to the bill suggested by the Rajya Sabha may or may not be accepted by the Lok Sabha. Underline that. If the Rajya Sabha is or members of Rajya Sabha is giving any information or any suggestion to make changes in the bill, okay, Lok Sabha can do that, or at the same time they have the right to not doing the same. Okay, so moving forward, so Rajya Sabha is powerful here. Next question, when a bill is passed by both houses, it is sent to the president for his assent. The assent of the president results in the enactment of a bill into a law. Okay, finally, the bill will send it to the president. President will read it and understand the clues there. Okay, clause there. And if it is needed, president can send that to the Council of Ministers for the reconsideration. Okay, after that, the president want to sign in that bill. After signing, the bill is no more a bill. It is termed as a law. Clear? Clear or not? So write the question, write the procedure of making a law in India. Making a law in India, the procedure. The entire procedure you want to write. Okay guys, moving forward. Okay, observe here carefully. How does the parliament control the executive? Next question. In a parliamentary democracy, the executive is drawn from the party or a coalition of parties that has a majority in Lok Sabha. It is not difficult for the executive to exercise unlimited and arbitrary powers with the support of the majority party. Okay, so here the question is, how does the parliament control the executive? We already know that they are watertight compartments or different organs of the government. At the same time, the legislature is able to control the executive. How they can do it? Clear? So, in a parliamentary democracy, the executive is drawn from the party or a coalition of parties that has the majority in Lok Sabha. We know that, right? Okay, the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers will come, they will come from the members of the legislature, I mean the Lok Sabha. Okay, which party has the majority there, from that party only the Prime Minister and ministers will come. So, it is not difficult for the executive to exercise unlimited and arbitrary powers with the support of the majority party. So, the executive can exercise any powers there because support is there in the legislature. Okay, in such a situation, parliamentary democracy may slip into a cabinet dictatorship. So, if the executive have maximum powers, okay, there is a chance the government will slip into a cabinet dictatorship. Only the ministers will take decision. There is no representation for the people, where the cabinet leads and the house merely follows. Only if the parliament is active and vigilant can it keep regular and effective check on the executive. There are many ways in which the parliament can control the executive. So, sometimes the executive can control the legislature entirely. So, some rules and regulations are necessary to check or block the overuse of powers by the ministers, I mean the Council of Ministers or the cabinet. Okay, what are they? There are many ways in which the parliament can control the executive, but basic to them all is the power and freedom of the legislatures as a people's representatives to work effectively and fearlessly. So that in a democratical system, we are giving more power to the legislature, okay, because the members of the legislature, they are elected by the people, especially in the Lok Sabha. So the representatives want to function to improve the well-being of the people. Clear or not? Okay, so for instance, no action can be taken against a member for whether a member may have said in the legislature. This is known as parliamentary privilege. Okay, clear, underline that. What do you mean the term parliamentary privilege? No action can be taken whatever the member may have said it in the legislature. Okay, so all the members in the legislature have powers to criticize the government, right? The presiding officer of the legislature has the final power to deciding matters of breach of privileges. Okay, only the presiding officer, the speaker, only have the power to suspend or give warning to the members of the legislature. The main purpose of such privileges is to be enable the members of the legislature to represent the people and exercise effective control over the executive. How does so? Any member in the legislature, the parliament, can ask questions to the ministers and the prime minister. They are responsible to the legislature. They are responsible to the parliament. They have to give the answers. They cannot stop anyone by asking questions in the parliament. Everyone have the right to do so. Okay, how does the parliament exercise control? What are the means of available at its disposal? Is parliamentary control successful in curbing executive excesses? These are the questions to you people where you want to find out the answers here. So we can say that in India, the history says, the experience says that so far no executive is tried to dissolve the legislature entirely to create the cabinet rule in the country. Okay, but one or two incidents are there. Okay, the time of Indira Gandhi, they declared emergency in the country, and that led to a particular type of rule called the presidential rule in the country. Okay, because of various reasons that we will learn in the coming sessions there. Okay, so just want to understand that in India, the power of the legislature, it is eminent. Okay, so we can say it is important. They are able to control the executive, the legislature is able to control the executive. Okay, so moving to the next question here. Instruments of parliamentary control. How can the parliament control the executive? What are the measures they are using to control the executive? The legislature in parliamentary system ensures executive accountability at various stages. Okay, what are they? Policy making, implementation of law or policy, and during and post implementation stage. The legislature does this through the use of variety of devices. Okay, underline, the legislature in parliamentary system ensure executive accountability at various stages. Okay, so the parliamentary body or the members of the legislature always will observe how the executive functioning, or how the branch of governance is functioning, related with the policy making, implementation of law or policy, and during and post implementation stage. Okay, policy implementation, before the policy implementation or after the policy implementation, the legislature will keenly observe it through different mechanisms. First of all, deliberations and discussions. Clear or not? So the legislature can participate in the discussions and deliberations, even negotiations. Clear or not? So executive don't have such a powers to take a one-sided decision. Okay, if they want to take any decision, they have to discuss that in the parliament. Then only they can take that decision. Okay, so the legislature has the power to control the executive from taking unnecessary or unwanted rules or decisions. Next one, approval or refusal of laws. Okay, so no executive in India is able to make laws as their own or related with their own wish. because it is necessary. What is necessary? Approval of the legislature or parliament members are necessary. Sometimes they can refuse, or they are able to approve the laws also. Okay, so the legislature is able to control it. Next one, financial control. The legislature or the parliament is able to control the government related with the misuse of money or overspending of money. Okay, so the legislature can control the executive. Next one, no confidence motion. Okay, so the legislature lost the confidence on the government, okay, related with the majority. So they can move for a non-confidence motion, so the executive will fall down. Clear? I mean, the ministry will fall down. Clear? Understand? So these are the powers basically using by the legislature to control the executive. So we are going to discuss one by one. First of all, deliberation and discussion. I already told you there, right? During the lawmaking process, members of the legislature get an opportunity to deliberate on the policy direction of the executive and the ways in which policies are implemented. Okay, they can negotiate. They can say that if it is good, means okay, fine, it is good, we can go forward. Or else they will say, or they can say, a rethinking is necessary. Apart from deliberating on bill, control may also be exercised during the general discussion in the House, the question hour. Okay, next two opportunities are there for the members of the legislature. What is that? The question hour. That time, the members of the parliament can ask questions to the ministers, including the prime minister. Clear? Which is held every day during the session of the parliament. So during the session of the parliament, if the parliament meeting is there, regularly the members can ask questions to the government, basically the ministers and the prime minister, where ministers have to respond to searching questions raised by the members. Okay, so the ministers can respond by searching questions. So 0 hour, where members are free to raise any matter that they think is important through the ministers, though the ministers are not bound to reply. Okay, 0 hour means any questions can be asked to the ministers. Okay, if ministers are ready to say, they can say the answer, or they can reject also. Okay, so 0 hour is basically related with the questions that have some importance in the society. Okay, clear or not? That's what the 0 hour. Next one, half an hour discussion on matters of public importance, adjournment motion, etc. Okay, making changes in the ruling situation or ruling conditions. Okay, are some instruments of exercise control. Perhaps the question hour is the most effective method of keeping vigil on the executive and the administrative agencies of the government. So the question hour is basically used by different political parties to control the executive, because they are accountable to the legislature. So they have to say the answers. They are unable to escape from the questions that are raised by the members of the parliament. Okay, clear or not? So just underline that. Perhaps the question, okay, completed. Members of the parliament have, next page, shown great interest in question hour, and the maximum attendance is recorded during this time in India. Okay, most of the questions aim at eliciting information from the government on issues of public interest, such as underline price rise, availability of food grain. So basically the questions are related with the basic issues of the country. What are they? Price rise. Clear? Prices of the commodities are increasing. Okay, what steps is the government took to reduce it? The ministers, the legislative members will ask that. So the ministers want to answer the question, answer it. Availability of food grain, very necessary item. Atrocities on weaker sections of the societies. Okay, majority minority issues, rights, problems within the country, fight, attacks, black marketing. Okay, some entrepreneurs will do that. They will keep the product for a for a long period of time. When the price of the commodity increases, they will sell it and make profit. Clear? This is called to be black marketing. Clear? This gives the members an opportunity to criticize the government. So the question hour always will giving an opportunity to the members in the legislature to question and criticize Okay. Okay, so this gives the members an opportunity to criticize the government and represent the problems of their constituency. So different MPs are there. Already we know that MPs are coming from different region, religion, caste group or social group. So this 0 hour will used by the MPs to discuss the problem in their own area, area. Next one, walk to the well of the house or walk out, okay, in protest to make their point. Here underline that the discussion during the question hour are so heated, okay, temper will be there, okay, the opposition party will ask questions to the ruling party and its ministers. Sometimes they will not have the so they cannot say the answer, so it will lead to a problem in the house, okay. So we can see the members will raise their voice, walk to the well of the house, so central, okay, to the main part of the house they will walk, everyone will come to the middle area, okay, and rising slogans and raise their voice. That's one way of protest. Or else they will walk out from the house, walk out, they will move out, okay, and they will not what we can say, will not sit in the house to attend the session, so they will move out. That's termed as walk out, okay. This results in considerable loss of legislative time. So this kind of protest movements will reduce the legislative time of the parliament on discussions will reduce because of this kind of protest movements by political parties. At the same time, we must remember that many of these actions are political techniques to gain, okay, concessions from government and in the process force executive accountability. So all these process we can say these things that basically using by the legislature to control the executive, okay. So everyone,
I can hear your voice.
sorry, can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So, understand. So, the legislature have the power to support the executive or oppose them. Okay, related with the discussion on bills. The government that has the support of the disciplined majority may not find it difficult to get the approval of the legislature. Such approval, however, cannot be taken for granted. They are the products of intense bargaining and negotiations among the members of ruling party or coalition of parties and even government and opposition. If the government has majority in the Lok Sabha but not in the Rajya Sabha, as has happened during the Janata Party rule in 1977 and NDA rule in 2000. Okay, so Lok Sabha will accept it, but Rajya Sabha will reject it. Clear or not? So there is no chance to make a law. Okay, so two governments face this problem in India. One is the Janata Party rule in 1977 and National Democratic Alliance rule in the year 2000. The government will be that time the parties, ruling party have majority in the Lok Sabha but not in the Rajya Sabha. In the Rajya Sabha, opposition party is there. So problem. Okay, the government will be forced to make substantial concession to gain the approval of both the houses. Many bills such as the Lokpal bill have failed enactment. Prevention of Terrorism Bill 2002 was rejected by the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so some bills are there still today. Rajya Sabha is not accepted and rejected, so it is still remaining as bills there. So the legislative council, I mean the parliament, the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha have the powers to control the executive to making rules and regulations that is not that good for the people. Clear? Clear or not? So just understand this much. We will meet in the next class tomorrow. Thank you everyone. Thank you very much.